So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about where we have been working from a development standpoint, from a discovery standpoint, and then we'll go into looking through all the UAT response and have a good discussion on some of those. Hopefully we have a good group here. I see Mark. I don't see Kelly had quite a few, and I don't see Laura. Maybe they're here. I'm sorry. Didn't go down far enough, maybe. Laura, there you are. But you can probably answer to most of these. Okay. So we'll discuss all that. Good feedback. Sorry, I just got to it. But and I'll show you what we're tracking to, and then there's a few that I may need to have more discussion on. So anyway, we're in sprint 31. We're working on career plan, training plan. We've been upgrading that. We had some upgrades to our funding and service levels to align with the service matrix stuff. User management, skills progression, pipeline, which doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but that just means we're getting closer to getting our UAT over on our Do-It hosted platform. Data migration for providers and also some locations, I believe. So continued discovery. We are heavy into assessments, expand services, exits outcome, career plan, and applications. Those are the big things we're heavy into. I've had a few sessions with upgrades to training plan, and I'll have a few more coming closely behind with grant management, but grant management's almost there also. So that's where we are on that. I will share. I'll start out and share here. I got up the share my screen. I think it'll be easier. Okay. All right. So here is the notebook. If everybody can see this, is this good? Can you see this, Taylor?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, good. This is the notebook that we have put out there in the link, in fact. Hold on a minute. Why don't I see my browser? Oh, that is my browser. I'm looking at, there we go. Had some overlap there. Remember, if you went from the resources and you went to this notebook line, that's where you went. Some of you put some feedback in there, so you knew where to get to. This is the UAT guide. We haven't got into this guide yet, but this is the guide, the pre-screening guide, and this is the notebook, and this is the notebook here. Okay, so we're looking at release 3 in the section, cycle 1. And then these are the different, this is the way I just divided it out, and you got to that. So that's where we're at. And I saw some pretty good feedback in here. Okay. I want to read through some of these just to make sure on the indie page. Why did I not? With the filter on the left, when I select the LWIA from the drop down, I do not see the LWIA number next to name. This has been fixed. What? Oh, this is example. I was like, why is that there? Okay. All right. So Kelly, I don't think she's on, but she suggested adding additional context on what it means to be an ETPL and have a checklist of what is needed to apply. This could be a link to IWN page that offers information. Laura, you're on. What do you think of this? Okay, to apply for a listing. So this is, oh, I know how so we have this is not the landing page. I want to make sure everybody knows that page 1 of the ETPL pre-screening process is not the landing page. Okay. The landing page that they'll get to will have all this information. I'm going to check. I know there was a design demonstration when I was out a couple of weeks ago. I'll check back and see how that is progressing along, but there is a page prior to this. You won't go to a menu and all that, and it'll have all this information on it. Okay. All right. Had to get my mind wrapped back around that. I don't for sure who put this picture in here, but this picture is from the training program. Not sure. I might be able to see who typed into this. Does anybody know who typed this? It said this section is pretty straightforward. And then it said when I try to go from first page to second using the fake letters, it gives me an error and I cannot get to page 2. And then this was here. I don't know what that was there for. But so when you go from first page to the second using a fake mail at fakemail.com address, it should give you a continue button. I don't know if anybody, how many people use that, but if I go to page 1 and I put in here, something, hopefully it doesn't match, and I put in any person at fakemail.com, then you should get this button here because this is just a testing process and you just bypassed the email sent to your inbox because that's not a real email. And all you have to do is hit this and it will get you into a new program. Does anybody want to claim this here so I can ask if you have any more questions? No, I'm not looking at chat. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Anything there? Okay, let's go on. Laura, I noted whenever you see this, or anybody sees this, and there's a number behind it, then that's put into as an issue into our system, and that will be changed. So you know that I saw it and addressed it. So
Yeah. Al, this is Mark.
yeah, Mark.
I thought I made a comment. Maybe it's in a different area that I commented than there, but I don't know if we need to. I agree with Laura's language there, but I think we need to be focused because what I don't want is everyone to all of a sudden just start contacting the state ETPL coordinator. So it's like if they've gone through the process and we, if we whatever they've input and we can focus them to a local ETPL coordinator, I think we want to do that first before all of a sudden Paul and I are getting all these requests.
I know, and we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point where they're from.
Yeah, that's
We talked
so
about this, Mark. We talked about should we or should not we add zip code to that first page.
yeah, I remember
And should we do that?
that.
Well, you could get
Or
help. You could get help
or
though.
maybe, I mean, can we ask for their zip code here? If you believe this decision incorrect, please enter your zip code to get directed to the appropriate contact or something.
That's no problem either.
Would Laura, does that work for you?
Yeah, I was thinking that if they clicked the link to the local ETPL coordinator, it would take them to the
LX. Yeah.
listing. Yeah, to the listing, but I'm
I
not
mean,
sure if that's how they
I
said it.
yeah, I think I mean, I just want it directed the same way as if they're applying for eligibility, which most places are going to go to the local ETBL coordinator, not the state. We're going to get enough of those already from out of state, online only, registered apprenticeships that I don't want to be overloaded here until maybe we have more staff to deal with more.
Okay. So that would be uh-oh. Something going wrong here. Got a cut. Got a problem here. Huh. Okay. Gotta do it again. That goes away again on me. Okay. Yes, I got this one in, I wish it was dollars. I got this one in number 15114. So we got a little bit of a problem there that we're going to have to deal with on migration data. And now you're saying, what does that have to do with pre-screen? Not a whole lot. But, and so I set this up so that we, in our issues or whatever, so that we would do this on new providers, new entities, or pre-screening, we would not see that SSN identification option. We can talk later about what we want to do with those providers that we only have SSN from the into migration. We'll talk later on that, but we can do that for sure. Okay, this one here, I wanted to talk through a little bit. I don't know if you've seen this, Laura or Mark. Basically, Kelly says, when we go in here, so we're on this page, we come back in and we're putting in our description. She recommends that we update this section to ask for a brief organization, description of the organization, and then offer a drop-down list of accreditation to choose from. Now, we do offer an accreditation drop-down in the 4th page. These aren't the same, though. These aren't the same. I don't believe these are in there. So help me out on this. And do you think this is a good idea? Do we need it? And
I think we need to have the discussion with Kelly and see what she
all
was
right.
trying to get at.
Thank you.
Huh?
I did email her on this, see if she'd be on, but not. Okay.
Because the thing is you're mixing and matching. You're mixing the IBHE, the ICCB, the State Board of Education with the Higher Learning Commission. And the other ones as accrediting. So you're mixing accrediting or approving bodies all in one here, and so that's
Okay. All right. We'll
yeah.
talk with her then. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, this button is not needed, does not work. I'll look through this. I'm not sure why this next button. Okay. The next button is oops. I think I got an overlap. My fault. What is this one? Not sure what this is.
Pardon me, Al, can I ask a question really quick?
Yep.
I saw you got that message about page contains conflicting changes. This is probably a really dumb question, but I'm I'm on my laptop, so sometimes it's hard to follow your screen, just because it's smaller. So I'm on my desktop computer on my large monitor. I'm following along in the UAT notebook.
Yep.
And I was when I was scrolling, I may have clicked something. Are the changes in real time? Because I won't do that if it's going to mess you up as you're scrolling.
Yeah, your changes will be in real time too, also.
I'm not making any changes, but I may have like clicked something and accidentally dragged something, and that might have been when you got that message earlier. And you're like, "Oh, why did that pop up?" I was
No,
debating
I
on whether or
understand.
not I should.
Thank you.
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't.
me, but I'll get out of that. I'll close out of the notebook then.
You know what? I can also, I believe here.
Yeah, no, it's no trouble. I was just like scrolling
I need to
along.
know you. I need to make this bigger because I'm having struggling with it too. I'm also on a laptop.
This might be in real time here. This might be messing him up. So no worries. Sorry about that.
Taylor, do you know how to collapse these?
I'm
Here.
not sure.
And it's easy to see now. It's just sometimes the screenshots, even on a large monitor,
Well, yeah, I know.
the screenshots get minimized. So that's all. I
They
was just
are,
saying.
and I've been kind of dragging them open a little bit bigger,
Yeah,
trying to.
when you do that, it's fine. That helps.
I'm trying to
Sorry,
figure out what
get
this
you off track
one
there.
is
Sorry.
here. Eligible training hours in Illinois. Nobody put any, somebody dropped this in and did not put, oh, I did. I was just explaining how we have this accredited agency also, Laura, and these are different than this list. Okay. I slept since 5 minutes ago. Okay, so the next button is probably not needed here. It does not work. Not even sure what this is. Identity, provider, and user. So, okay, so I get it. This is if you have a duplicate. Looks kind of ugly too. We need to clean this up. Anyway, I dropped this in an issue, but this looks like we have a duplicate. And so that entity was already in our system. So it's saying, hey, here's, yeah, I don't know what this is. I got to look into this more. Not sure what that is. This one here revised the message, you are not eligible to review and no determination can be made. Let me see if I can get this a little bigger. Is this you, Laura? Not sure who asked this. Okay, so revise the message. You're not eligible for review and no determination can be made. Since you have a canceled and pre-screen, this is on the cancel. And general requirements to be determined and eligible training provider in Illinois under the workforce. You do not meet. Oh, so they, instead of you do not meet the general requirements to be determined on eligible training provider in Illinois, someone wants no determination can be, you're not eligible for review and no determination can be made.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because we don't know that they don't meet general
Right.
requirements because they haven't completed anything. So just saying you're not eligible
Cool.
without all the information that,
All right,
we're
I
asking.
see what you're saying. I'll handle that in 5.15116. Okay. All right.
Or it could be more specific as saying a determination can't be made on your eligibility or something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna stick it in here, Mark. Like to determine, determination cannot be made
Yeah.
on well, let's see. I don't know. We'll have to, I might have
Yeah.
to,
A determination cannot be made on
let's just rewrite this.
eligibility. Yeah.
Let's-
Somewhere in there.
All right.
But I do like that better than
Shoot,
saying they don't meet because we don't know.
Hopped around on me. Okay. Since you have canceled the pre-screening process, you are not eligible for review and no determination can be made. For you, let's see.
At this time,
Okay, at this time. I still wanted to put in this last piece. Let's see. Eligible training provider in Illinois to become an eligible training provider in the rest of that. How's that sound? Okay, since you have canceled the pre-screening process, you are not eligible for review and no determination can be made at this time to become an eligible training provider in Illinois under the Illinois Innovation and Opportunity Act. Is that better?
I would split into a sentence, at this
Two
time
sentences?
period. I would split and then put a period there and then start to become an eligible training provider. You can start that again. Otherwise, it's a very long sentence.
I think of a good place to do it. Period.
Period, right after at this time. And then you start the next sentence.
Now I gotta rewrite this sentence.
Yeah, you just need to put an introduction to that next part. So,
Yeah.
you know, please feel free to reapply or start the process again at any time or something to that effect.
Or maybe even a period after, since you've canceled the pre-screening process, you're not eligible for review, and then period.
Right, but it says, and no determination can be
Yeah, but
made.
we could just say no.
Then instead of and, just put
Take out
therefore,
the
no,
and, right?
maybe thus or therefore no determination can be made at this time.
We just put in no,
Or yeah, just remove and altogether.
right?
Yeah, either one worked. But I agree, that was kind of a long sentence and we used the word eligible.
That's the pre-screening process. No, you're not eligible for review. No determination. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right, this page is pretty straightforward. Issues and counter testing. However, I just want to point out that currently we ask for other information for eligibility. For example, refund that's all in the training program though. So this is just pre-screening on the provider. Who is this? Hey, everybody, feel free to put your name in there or initials so that I know who I'm talking to here.
That
Hi.
might have been me. I'm trying to remember. I did that a while ago.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while. 423
Yeah.
comment on it. So this is part of the training program. It's like one of the pages of the training program, maybe 2 or 3 of these pull this information. So we don't pull it now. I think you thought, well,
That's fine. Yeah. I think I was kind of thinking ahead a little bit, but
Yeah, you are. You're thinking ahead. Okay. On the question regarding provider descriptions, the wording might be confusing for a college that also operates registered apprenticeships. They may not. Okay, so either works. What I said here, and this may not be, Laura can back me up or not. We are not defining the program here, just a provider. We are just pre-screening. And if they have at least one of these options, right, 1, 2, or 3, and they go through with it, then they're going to get through the pre-screen.
Right.
Is that the right answer?
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
So
I was thinking, I'm looking at it through the point, through the perspective of a training provider. I'm just trying to reduce confusion on their end. Because that just the way it's set up, it seems to me that they'd be like, well, I don't know what to pick. And it, ultimately it may not matter what they pick, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying
Oh,
to,
you're right. You're right. And we've always kind of thought about that and talked about, let me go back here. Where we at? Okay, here it is. So you're saying I could be university, college, or whatever, and also have
I could be both.
apprenticeship, right?
So
Right.
which one should I pick? Is
So we
what
could
a
say
provider might
here,
say.
which,
Because you're only allowed to pick one, you can't pick more than one.
yeah, we don't want to pick more than one because we'll be doing this pre-screening all day.
Right.
It's the following 4 choice best described. So this is, it says, does say best.
Mhm.
Or is it, I don't know, is there a way to say, nah, sorry, it's probably gonna mess it up. I'd like primary, like what's your primary function, or that like something in addition, like something aside from best that says, well, what's the main thing you do? But that's, again, that might be getting bogged down in semantics.
Right.
So like, for example, I'm thinking of a college that also offers registered apprenticeship programs under the National Apprenticeship Act.
Mhm.
Now, probably the best option in that instance would be for them to pick one rather than two. But if you have a school that's maybe signing up specifically for their apprenticeship, they might pick two instead of one. Again, I don't
And that's
know.
okay if they pick, it's okay if they pick 1, 2, or 3 in any situation because they'll go through it.
So it doesn't really ultimately matter as long as they're picking one of those, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they pick college, which is probably our preference, then when they come in for a registered apprenticeship program, we're going to have an opt-in form.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they'll be able to fill in that form and send it to the state, and we'll be able to put them on.
Okay. I just didn't want them thinking that well, if I pick one, I can't do the other,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, and on the back end, when you do reporting and everything, is there going to be a reporting feature that sorts providers by what they checked in the box?
That was kind of my question. I mean, not to play devil's
Well,
advocate, but like
well,
if you do put a click all that apply, or there's probably logic tied to these buttons? Like what if they click, then it's gonna
so let's
make
back up a little bit.
Oh.
Your actual training program definitions, right, would be separate, right? If you had an apprenticeship program, you'd have a training program defined as an apprenticeship. If you had a degree program, you would define that separately. Regardless of all that, we have all the data, right, for all the types of programs that a provider provides, and we can report on all that data without really even looking at this pre-screening.
Mhm.
Okay. All
See, we
right.
don't really, the pre-screen's for the reviewer and it
Yeah.
does allow us to collect
Yeah.
documentation, but it's for the reviewer to say, okay, I get it. And we always have that information available. But
Okay.
really, if you think about it, they can define program. We have to approve programs, right? And we have to define those programs.
Okay. I mean,
The-
and I mean, ultimately, it's not going to affect anything
No.
eligibility wise or things like that. So,
Well,
I'm approaching it from the point of a provider
yeah.
to say, well, does it matter if if I pick the wrong one, am I not going to get approved or things like that?
Yeah, I get that, but the reason why we did the pre-screening was to ensure that the IBHE approval and the PBBS approval was being captured, where we weren't capturing that before in the current system. So that's where we built that in, is in this pre-screening to make sure that they have that approval before they even bother to put all their program information in.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm okay with leaving it as
Mhm.
it is. I'm not saying, I'm not really gonna die on this hill. I'm just, again, I'm just thinking of, I'm thinking of how the provider would approach it, but I don't have an issue, as long as the data won't affect, eligibility or some sort of reporting down the road.
Definitely not.
Ultimately, I don't think it's a huge issue.
If they get through the questions positively, whatever
Right.
track they take, they're in. They're
Right.
by and they can get going. Hey,
Okay.
Rory,
I'm okay with that.
okay, good. Rory, the issue with the it's a good question, the devil's advocate question here, but the issue is we're trying to make this pretty light. Okay, I know it doesn't seem like it, but really because when you're testing, you may go through 4 or 5 different tracks. That's not going to happen for somebody that's going to come through. There's just really 4 pages total, and depending on what you hit on that second page depends on what you're going to get on the 4th page. But if we did that, said let's check them all, then we have to take them through every one of those different paths. And then that's going to get ugly because
No, that's fine. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I
it's going to get really
Yeah.
ugly. We'd have to either, we'd have to really restructure it because we don't want them to go like back or whatever. We would have to expand it down and just keep going down a page or something. It would get ugly because
Yeah, I
as
didn't know if I was
as
using
you've been through some of them, if you add all the questions up that we ask, right, there's a lot. But if you only go through one of those tracks, there's not very many.
Yeah, sorry. That's what might not have been using the terminology, the programming, terminology correctly, but that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, maybe is there like a logic tied into like, if they select all, then they have to do more screens if they select more than one of these. So I just wasn't sure if that wasn't the case. And I was like, well, that could be a solution that would, satisfy everybody.
Gotcha. No, good point.
Okay. No, I totally get it. Thanks for answering.
Okay. Some questions, option 3, other private. I had this a couple places and I really want to tease this out a little bit. Okay. Under public-private providers, the second question I asked, the best option to describe the provider should probably offer an other option in addition to the 3 options provided. I know some private for-profit providers for which none of these options fit well. So this is, I'll go back to this. This is, wait, this is the wrong. There's no screen. Okay, I'll show you this then. So if we're going to other, and this doesn't really matter, I don't think here at all. So we'll just say for profit. These don't matter, but this does. So, but you're coming back to this. Okay. Something other than these 3. Chuck, is that you too?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, I mean, there are different for-profit providers other than, what's just listed here. I mean, I think we work with providers who, private for-profit providers who, I mean, they're an established school, but they don't fit under, they're not a CBO, they're not a labor management organization, and they're not specifically adult education providers.
Okay, so
under
they're
Title II.
not even this. You're saying not even.
Well, they are, but they're like, let's say, but again, they're a private provider, for profit, but they're not any of those. They're not any of those three. They're not a CBO. They're not a labor management organization. They're not an adult ed. They're a standalone school.
And I can't speak for, all the areas in the state, but I agree with Chuck. And I would say, I would, at least in our area, the overwhelming majority of private for-profit training providers. Look, I mean, the CDL schools, for example, welding schools.
Yeah, that's an
schools,
example.
The
They don't fit.
overwhelming majority of them do not fit those three. And if you can't click one of those three, you have to choose. You have to choose one, and then okay, I can't choose these three, and then you
Gotcha.
click type of
Mhm.
institutions
Yeah.
listed above.
Yeah.
And you
So
can't
it fits that
I get
subset.
that. Yeah, it fits the other public or private provider. It's just not including those three. So
Right,
it's, yeah.
exactly.
put
So
a
we,
fourth option there.
yeah, we need a fourth option then.
Okay, and what would that be? Other? I hate
Well,
others.
that was my
I
idea.
hate other.
But
I hate other.
but somebody has something better.
Yeah.
Other public private provider type or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, like
But yeah.
technical vocational business school or training entity,
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, like Rory's example is like, a lot of the CDL providers are private for-profit providers, but they don't fit any of those three categories. So do you just kind of lump them together under an other, or, could you categorize schools like that?
I'm wondering,
Like
are
you
they
said,
all?
they would most likely be vocational schools, right?
Uh, Probably.
Yeah, I was thinking that, or some kind of occupational based
Yeah,
statement. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
online computer
Yeah, vocational
schools,
training.
Yeah, like a provider of.
Will they all follow under vocational training?
Well, I mean, your occupational skills training. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
not to
yeah,
steal
the
the language
examples I
that's in
can think of are
IWDS.
all the examples I can think of are vocational training.
Talking
I
about
could be, I could be missing something, but
how does this look, Mark, Laura? Um, other,
Mark, you have any thoughts? Do we need to repeat? I just said public, private. I don't know if we need to repeat public, private because they're selecting that
Oh.
above.
Well, that's the only thing I was
Yeah.
looking at. Other
Yeah.
occupational skills
yeah,
trainer. I
because they're
mean,
already part of that subcategory.
it's
Yeah,
I think it's the best we got right now.
exactly.
And maybe something will come to someone's mind that can chime in.
okay, let me write a note here because I gotta go back here and add it. Let's see, this will be.
Is Zeta got a comment.
Oh.
Would they all be independent though? That, and I think some of these smaller providers that would fit this mold, I'm not sure they consider themselves
What's the
an
independent?
institution.
Education institution, right?
Yeah.
Does independent fall under a private or public, or what is that?
Yeah.
It's a new word for me. Okay, let me get this third option. Okay. All right. What's this one here? I gotta change.
Mhm. You have the of capitalized, but you
I
don't
have
have.
another, I had two changes on this.
Yeah.
I had a change here. Somebody gave me a change. Kelly, I believe. This is not supposed to be apostrophe S.
Apostrophe S.
Also, this O, she gave me that, so I put that in a different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then this here, Laura, can we add registered apprenticeships at the end? Yes. Wait, at the end of the sentence. And this has got an O
Well, it
problem.
talks about the National Apprenticeship Act, but it doesn't specifically say registered apprenticeship, which is most people are saying that's
Put that,
that's
just put that at the end.
yeah, that's what they
IE,
recognize.
okay, all right, okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna be in 15.117. I copied that.
Okay.
Period here, I copied that, that's good, got that. Is it possible to have a heading? Okay, this one, oh, this is a Kelly one. She has a lot of bunch of good stuff here.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Sure
gonna wait for Kelly to get on this.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure. I did fix this, I get that. Okay. Profit provider, this might be Kelly too, for example. Oh, no, I don't think this is Kelly, but I wanted to just, is this the same issue did we just talked about? Okay, because it's.
Yeah, that Rory put it in the chat. He said it was scroll down that he had some screenshots in there. So
Okay, cool. Somewhere here.
Oh, yeah, you can skip that one. I was just saying, if you were looking for a screenshot, there was one further down, and that's another one too. There was one, I think, Microtrain. There was a vendor that put one, a provider put one in, and then I had put one in, not realizing that there was one above it. So
Right, so.
it's the same one.
Okay, same thing, right? Okay. All right, let me get back up here, make sure I don't miss anything. I don't think all of this is the same. Is this provider select one? This is the same thing, maybe? No, what is this? This is the same, this is the same problem?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, vocational school, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's kind of the same issue.
All right, this one here, oh, this is the one I picked up on 15.121. These are the right ways to do it. So
Okay.
that, this was a little different too, I think, by the way. Let's take a peek. This says the Institution of Higher Education Primary Awards, and she wanted to change this to what type of credentials does your institution primarily award? Select one. Does that work for everybody or no?
That's fine.
It's fine, okay. This private programs, I put this in, this link in. That's 15.122. This doesn't make sense to me. If I mark no regarding documentation, I receive the message that I am ineligible. Not all, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Oh, never mind. It's a different thing.
Okay, so not all RTI will have class approved by these entities. For example, if I have a manufacturing rep, I may offer an industry recognized credential as part of the RTI versus a state agency with licensing approval. Should there be another option to include this? Provider description. Is this on the provider description page? Does it make sense? If no, regarding documentation. No, this isn't, there's no documentation there. This must be on a wrap page, maybe?
Yeah, it's on the just select organization, select the middle one. And then say public or private.
Is the
Then say next.
okay. Hold on, I gotta write something in here. Okay. Then we get the in-state, out-of-state.
Is that what's next?
Yeah, that's what's next.
And I'm not sure what she's talking about.
And then we go down here. Okay, now. It's there.
Oh, I think she's talking about this bottom one.
Right down here, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the RTA provider have documentation, does the RTA documentation issued by the appropriate state education agencies listed above the organization. Authorize its listed students offer maintain. This is
If they hit no, it should
page.
not. I don't know if does it stop them if they hit no?
Yeah, if they hit no, it'll stop them.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I gotta do this one too. If I, so now since I've got that, if I hit next, it stops them. Or if I hit yes and doesn't upload, it doesn't even let them go forward.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll have to discuss that offline with Kelly, because I know
Okay.
we had an issue where we had a rep who hadn't did a program that was supposed to have been approved through the state agency that and oversees it, and it wasn't, and so we had an issue.
Yep. Okay. I got discussion needed still.
Mhm.
Okay. Approved by respective. Okay, this must be describing what the deal, what her thought process is here, I guess.
Probably.
State certifying bodies. This is here. Okay. Yeah, I think I must be with that. Okay, so this person here. She's not selecting anything, but yet this next screen is taking me RTI, which is only specific to rep. Okay, so she picked college, private, community college. All right. Let's do a new one. To be safe. Okay. Okay, so next. She picked private community, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, it must be in,
Must have been a glitch.
it's been a glitch, or it must have been something we have fixed. I can't reproduce. Okay. Next screen is asking me print. I don't know why she got there. Okay. Wait a minute. Provider training is okay. Actually, I think this is not necessarily an error, but we do have this next screen. And she's saying, but this just says a provider is training site, including related technical instruction for registered apprenticeship, is in Illinois. And that is bugging her, or it just needs to be worded differently. She didn't expect them to have. This is what she's saying in apprenticeship info. This is just to say the state, we're going to go on and talk with her on that one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if it's like unlimited right now almost, I think, but we can actually, Sarah, we can, if you're on, we can do that. Okay. This one we've tackled, right, Rory? This is the one we just tackled, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Laura. This is pretty straightforward. Then you got, if this screen is to take them to IBHE or PBVS requirements is okay. If this screen is to help direct the program to the proper reviewer, then virtual learning in the first dot point can be an issue since the state ETPL coordinator is to review all distance only learning. This is this screen right here. Yeah, this is, we really don't, Laura, we don't care. I don't know if it, like, they have to put their train program in. If their only location, I guess, their main location
Mhm.
was out of state, it would probably go, the only thing we can do is go directly to the DCO,
Mhm.
ETPL coordinator.
We'll get the online only in the program side of it. I had
Yep. And
forgotten that when I put this question in, so
yeah, if it's online only too, we're gonna get,
yeah.
we're gonna show those two situations, if the
Mhm.
main location is a zip out of state, or if they've checked online in offering, how it's offered, online only, then it'll go there too. So we're not doing a whole lot with this, just to let you know, except collecting it and providing, well, collecting it, getting them through the process, and then providing it to you, reviewer, as a reviewer. Because our training program only has pretty much all the data we need. Okay. So this is okay. Okay, this is another Kelly, and I need to get a consensus on this. You can look at this though. It suggests simplifying the drop down and text to select the location, select provider location. Located in Illinois includes in-state headquarters, office, training site, or virtual class located out of state. It's not really a drop down. It's just two radio buttons here, I think. But we can discuss that with her some more.
Yeah, she probably just used the word drop down incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly.
so
And I'm
she wants-
okay.
I think shortening up is the key thing,
Yeah.
but what's missing here is located in Illinois. Someone may go, well, I'm not only located in Illinois, where do I fit in? Because I could be
It needs to
in
be the
multiple states,
headquarters.
so I would click them both.
So so you're saying if I was
Well, what I'm saying is someone that's headquartered in Illinois but has locations outside Illinois, I would think I would have to click both of these. But so we have to make clear
Yeah.
It
It
says-
says-
if
It
you're
says
headquartered in
It says
Illinois,
no Illinois office or training site.
Yeah,
It
it says
specifically
no.
says
okay,
that.
but the first
See
one
that?
doesn't clarify. So, I mean, if others think it's okay, I'm just saying
I don't think we're out of state, Mark, unless there's nothing
Right.
okay.
in
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
That's the way I read that. I mean, I don't know if anybody else wants to.
I'm okay with her changes.
Yep.
That's
You're okay with the changes? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And it gets tricky because if it's an online training company like Coursera or something, like they may not have any administrative billing offices or offices where their instructors stream their classes in Illinois, but they might say, "Oh, but we offer classes in Illinois." So I like I like the parenthetical like clarification there that that you're talking about like like a physical location that the training site is not physically in Illinois. But I could see, yeah, I mean, you just got to read it carefully, I guess, because it's like Mark said, if you read it too quickly, you could jump to the wrong conclusion. But I think having that extra clarification at the very least is good.
I got this one, Laura, in 15-123. It says
Mhm.
change the radio button language. No provider does not have an approval recognition letter. And that still goes to next, would still give you an error, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one here, change the first error message and then last, so I got that in 15-124. This one here, which is this, I believe, right
Mhm.
here is 15-125. This one here we need to discuss. What are we uploading here? Okay, I don't know who this was, but okay, so what are we uploading here? Have we confirmed with ICTB or IBHE how easy it is to obtain letters if a provider doesn't have access to a copy? I would assume these are closely guarded by institutional research effectiveness offices to ensure accreditation letters can't be tampered with. Is anyone claiming this to start this discussion?
They send a letter to the institution, so I'm not sure what they're talking about here.
And if you're referring to like community colleges, it's, not to take it for granted, but it's kind of like if it's an established community college, in Illinois, we would probably just kind of take them at their word for it and we would look at their catalog and that. But if you're talking about private business vocational schools, IBHE, and everybody probably knows this. Sorry if it's redundant, but they have a website where you can look up to see. Now you can't like download their actual authorization letter that they receive, like Laura said, from IBHE PBVS division, but you can look up to see if a school is authorized as a private business vocational school on IBHE's website. So we kind of use that if the school doesn't have it right away. If the training provider doesn't have it, that authorization handy, we can just kind of go in and at least see that they've been approved.
And this specific example here is under wrap, I think. Yeah. We okay with requesting that something to upload this letter?
I think so, but I think the first statement, the concern is the person submitting this information may not have access to that document. I think that's the concern. It may be at a higher level.
Hmm.
And so,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they pasted it in the wrap opt-in form.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's probably
Okay,
in
mistake.
the wrong spot and picked up the wrong screenshot.
I mean, because it is a fact that most of the providers we work with, they assign somebody the duty of entering stuff. And
Yeah.
that might not be the person who's got the access to the big letter or something.
right. I mean, whoever made the comment might have knowledge to say what, about the guarded aspect of that.
What's to keep him from uploading a document that says I do not have access, but we have it.
Well, I think maybe what we do here is if that's a truly an issue, then we don't make it mandatory, but we have to have a self-attestation or
Well-
something more than just, I mean, I guess the checking the button is your self-attestation, but
Right, we have it.
the reason I would say self-attestation because it means that individual knows that document exists, doesn't assume it exists.
We
Yep.
are getting ready to have a separate conversation with Whitney, with ICCB, and Nina from IBHE. So maybe we can talk to them about simplifying this. If they have a database that we can get an API with, then perhaps we can have this kind of filter in and less uploading on the provider's part. So those are the discussions that we need to have. So I'll make sure that when those happen, this is something that you bring up.
You bet. Okay.
Can I add real quick too? I can coming from a community college standpoint, usually I know at our college, it's institutional effectiveness who completes this information. So, I mean, if ICCB could get on board just to say, hey, make sure you have your institutional effectiveness folks aware of this requirement so it can be easy to get that documentation, it might help somewhat.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get that opt-in form. I put it in a 15/126. And you just want a link to get that to download, right? And I got this error message change to in 15/127. That's all we have. Anybody else have anything on a registered apprenticeship page that they didn't put in here? Can go look at it real quick with you. I think actually I took it. Did I not? No, I don't. I'll do this. Go here. Go here. Okay. So here's what we do. Registered apprenticeship programs, registered in the United States, USDOL office apprenticeship eligible for inclusion in the state, including training providers. So we were going to add, just so everybody knows, a link, probably right in here, to download the opt-in form, then you'll be able to provide that. And then this gives information. I did it in Illinois, must be approved by the appropriate entities. And then this is just as the RT provider got a problem here, I realize that. Have documentation issued by appropriate state. Yes, so the only thing I got here on this was Laura's word smithing.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have any problem with registered apprenticeship?
No, and just that one that Kelly had, or somebody had put on an earlier page, but
Yeah,
about the RTI in Illinois.
I do
Maybe
have a
that's the difference. Yeah.
problem with RTI and RAP. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That. Okay. All right, this section is straightforward. Okay. So we have, what did I put here? If I pick out of state and answer those questions, why do I need the other to answer the other questions? Okay, let's take a look at this, Lauren. Tell me where we went wrong. Let's go back. We're gonna go here, I believe. Okay, provide documentation issue. And does it matter what I pick for CBO here?
Yes, it was, yeah, it doesn't matter there.
Okay.
Now you probably won't get it to work.
Okay,
You
now,
say out of state.
oh, out of state, I'm sorry. And yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good stuff. Oh, would you something here?
No.
Okay, good. I think it's on
Oh, yeah, there.
the
well,
last
you-
page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then next. Okay. This
Yeah,
was
if they're out of
state.
state, then why do they need to answer these
Now,
questions?
this one they don't need an answer, but this one says the provider have documentation issued by the appropriate state listed above. Hey, oh, here.
And those are the R's.
Okay, so they don't
So-
need this page at all?
Well, you could say authorized in their state, but you don't need the Illinois stuff here if they're out of state.
That's for sure. So here we might want issue appropriate issue, like not this.
Yeah.
I would think they'd have to answer yes, and they should tell us who that is. We need to be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
clarify
Oh,
that.
yeah, for sure.
But we'll do not this piece if you're, okay, so let me
Yeah.
get this written down. All right, so. All right, so on CBO, out of state. Not have the info box.
Mhm.
And then. And we don't want this question either.
Right. We don't need that question.
No second question. And then the changes to this, okay, so
Uh-huh.
we say, does the provider have documentation issued by the appropriate state education agencies
In which they are headquartered
in which they are headquartered?
instead of listed above.
Okay, in which they are headquartered. That authorize them, and then we say, if we say yes, do we need anything other than that uploading the documentation?
No.
Just right, because we'll be able to look at the documentation. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Excellent, okay. And then you had this is just a language change, got that in 15.131. This is a file name change, subject type change, that's in 15.131. Also, I put these both in one.
Mark.
Okay, Mark. I select the provider as out of state and I include the state they're headquartered in. Select that I do not have evidence that it doesn't offer instruction or core academic support in Illinois. Oh, you get an error? Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, you mean you get an error message? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we've talked about this before. There's absolutely nothing a provider could give us other than just telling us they don't have locations. I mean, we're not going to go searching. I don't even know what we would search to find if they're lying.
Okay. Maybe Duns or something. But anyway, let's go to whoops. Right spot. Here I am. This is it. This is location. Okay, so I'm in another state. I'm authorized to operate in that chosen state. I upload that document, but here,
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to have them upload.
you have anything? So I just take that, just say yes or no. Oh, I
Um,
have evidence. Just take this whole thing out, right?
yeah. I mean, I like some assurance. Where are we asking if they? I mean, I guess the fact that they
They already said that they don't have any
right, they'd have no.
locations. They don't have anything here. I think we said that somewhere here.
I mean,
Yeah.
actually,
The
that
provider
other
had
list
its
is
training site, including electric train site and registered press are located out of state with headquarters and classes held out of state. But this says just something different. This says I don't offer
no.
anything. So I
Can you
could just say this. Go ahead, Laura.
I was just say, can you scroll over so we can see the entire question? We're only
Yeah.
seeing a little bit.
No, it
Sorry.
should be
Thank
that
you.
way.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh,
too long
yeah.
a question anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Mark.
Just take this last one out.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're like say you're answering it to start in
Process.
the first bullet you're checking.
Yep.
Is this the same tied to it, Mark? Yeah, I think this is tied to it. Oh, no, this is what you got. Oh, this is what you got if you answered no. And if you exit, oh, this is something different. Okay.
Yeah.
If I exit following here, I can actually exit. Yeah. Does it say like to do or something? Because we got to get that. That needs to go back to the landing page, and the landing page we don't have. But let's just make sure. If I say no, and I go to here and get this, and I exit, yeah, to do exit workflow. We got to because we got to route this back to the landing page of ETPL, which is not built, and I got to get on top of that and see where that's at. So that will work eventually. Comment there. Sorry about that. Anyway. All right. We'll get this all cleaned up. That's all I have. Taylor, did you have anything for today?
Nope, I'm good.
Olivia, I don't know if she's on. Any other questions? We're still working on training programs, so that's not yet. I mean, you could find it here in UAT, but it's not yet ready for UAT because we've got some upgrades to outcomes and in the first page. So those will be in this next sprint that starts tomorrow. So it'll be at least 2 weeks before we get the training plan back in your hands. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate the feedback, and we'll get these all cleaned up. And then once we get them cleaned up, we'll show you all those cleanups too, and let you play around with them more if you want to.
All right.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
all.